Hello all Pachines, how are you all? I hope you all are fine, good and safe at your home. Welcome once again in our science class in 6th. We are on a new chapter, that is chapter number 7, that is getting to know plants. So in this chapter we are going to study somewhat about plants. As you can see in our surrounding, many plants are there. Some big, small, every kind of plants are there. And we all are very much aware that plants provide us oxygen, and many plants are providing us the woody stems. And for many purposes we are utilizing their parts also. We are utilizing their trunks, we are utilizing their leaves, and we are getting fruits, and medicinal plants are also there. A lot of things are there to know about plants. But first of all, I am going to differentiate with these 4 parts. Right? Let's take them one by one.
Let's talk about first plants. Plants are divided by herbs also. They can be differentiated from herb and shrubs. The herbs are those plants which are having a tender stem. And second thing, wheat is a very good example. There are seasonal plants, of course, and they survive for one season only. It means 1 year only. Their lifespan is very short. If I talked about shrubs, shrubs are the plants which are more having woody stem comparatively to herbs, and these shrubs can be a very good example. I can say tulsi is a very good example. That is rose, of course, jasmine also. So these are very good example. Now I think it's very clear to you, and you can differentiate them very well, that herbs and shrubs are quite different with their sticky stem. One more thing is there are trees. You are well aware with the trees, long trees, short trees, every trees are there. Mango tree, lemon tree. If you are talking about banyan tree, it's having a very large lifespan. If you're talking about people, it is also having a very good oxygen rich plant. Secondly, if I'll talk about the shisham, sal trees, they are providing us a woody stem which is utilized to make the furnitures and many other purposes. So we are quite aware with the trees and their uses also. Let's talk more about these creepers and climbers. Yes, creepers and climbers, again a new word for you. So climbers, if I'm talking about, the name itself defines that they are going to climb it. Like this, money plant is a very good example. You can see in your surrounding or at your home, in the house garden, you can see over there money plant is there. Yes, it needs supports to climb up. If we are providing the support, or they take them from themselves, but they used to take a support, like they cannot survive without taking the support. So these are called climbers. Next is creepers. Creepers fruits are quite heavy, so they cannot climb the trees, cannot climb the support, so they scroll, I can say. They can crawl over there in the gardens, right, in the soil only, because their fruits are quite heavy. Watermelon is a very good example of these creepers, I can say. Okay, so I think you're well aware. You can write down the definition from this PDF also. What are creepers? What are these climbers? Yes. Let's talk more about the part of the plants. Yes. In the part of the plant, it is divided. You can see this plant, and it is divided into few parts. First it is stem, then leaf, then root, then flower. You can see in the figure, roots are under the ground, then leaves you can see, stem is there, flower is there. Fruit and buds are also involved in the shoot system. So it is divided into 2 parts, shoot and root system. From here you can differentiate that this is the shoot system and this is the root system. Okay. Roots absorb water and minerals from the soil, as we quite aware with this, that the roots will absorb the water, and then stem conduct these to leaves and other part of the plant, and then this water is transferred to the leaves and every part of the plant. This food travels through the stem and is stored in different part of the plant. Like if the root is taking the water, then this flower is also utilizing that. right? The bird is also utilizing, the fruit is also utilizing that water. Now the question arises that where, from which process these roots are helping to transferring this water. So the process name is bete xylem. With the xylem process, suction, due to the suction pull, the water is pulled up by the leaves in every part of the plant, even I can say with the stem, and it reaches to every part of the plant with the suction pull. And the things which are containing these waters are the xylem vessels. Okay. So next I'll talk about, let me take stem first. Stem bears leaves, branches, buds, flowers, and fruits. Stem help in upward movement of water, as I told you. The water and minerals go to the leaves and other plant parts attached with the stem. So stem is following the xylem process, which takes water to every part of the plant. Even the food which is prepared by the leaves is again transferred to the stem only with the phloem process, and it will transferring the every part of the plant involving roots also. So stem is a very important part of the plant which make the easiest form to transfer the water as well as the food to every part of the plant. Let me take the second part of the plant, that is leaf. So where this leaf, you can see this leaf figure, you can draw it in the notebook also, you can paste it originally also. So let me take this petiole first. The part of the leaf by which it is attached to the stem is called petiole. You can see this is the figure over here, and this little woody stick which is present in the leaf, that is called petiole. The broader green part of the leaf is called lamina. You can see this is lamina, the broader part of a leaf, a green part of the leaf, which involves a chlorophyll also. And thin lines of the leaves are called veins. These, you can see, these are the veins. You can draw them also. Okay, their venations are also fixed. Like in this leaf, you can see these midribs with this kind of shape. The venations, like type of arrangement of these veins, are also attached. We will study some other lecture with on this topic, but you can understand with the vein that they are having this crisscross system with the lines over there on the leaf, and it gives support to the leaf also. If these veins are not present, they will not get the support at all. Yes, the prominent line in the middle of the leaf is called midrib. Of course, without the midrib, the leaf cannot survive, like it cannot stand. If the stem is not there, the plant will not get anything, not even food and not even water. If midrib is not there, the plant is not getting anything. The leaf is not getting anything, right? So midrib is very important part in the leaves. In this slide, I am going to tell you the venation also. In the early slide, I'll talk about the venation. So these are the parts from a leaf which is having their veins. See these veins which are equally distributed all over the leaf. They have a particular pattern of the distribution. So the design made by the veins in the leaves is called leaf venation. In this design, net like on both sides of midrib, then it is called reticulate venation. What I told you, if this design is a net like if it is a net like structure, no particular figure, no particular distribution is there, and it's all is distributed like a net, then we can say that this kind of venation is reticulate venation. If like talk about IF venations are parallel to one another, these venations which are parallel to one another, like in this way they are parallel to each other, then it is called parallel venation. This can be found in sugar canes. So one more interesting topic inside this, we have studied stem, we have studied leaves. Okay, so very important part is leaf, and leaf is the kitchen of the plants, right? So what I'll talk about on this, transpiration. So it's a new term for you. What is transpiration? Water comes out of the leaf in the form of vapors by a process is called transpiration. Plants release a lot of water into the air through this process. Okay, definitely we will learn this again. But here, what I like to explain over here is that leaves, see these leaves, and these leaves are having the water droplets. Even you can see in this figure also. Over here, the background things what you are watching over here, these water droplets are on the leaves only. Yes, and they are shown due to the transpiration process. One activity also I have prepared with this. You can go through it, and I'll send you the link also. You can go through it and you can see the transpiration activity. What basically it happened that the evaporation take places on the leaves through the stomata, and these evaporation will occur and shown in the form of these water droplets on the part of the leaf. That is called transpiration. If I talk about the desert plant, transpiration is very slow, right? If you talk about these tropical forest plants, the transpiration is very fast. Okay. Let's talk about roots now. You're well aware with this term roots. Root system is quite different from the shoot system, and it is a very important part also. How it is important? Without this root system, plant will not get water. Can you give water directly to the leaves? Can trees take water directly from these leaves or branches? No, they cannot. Because these roots help them to take water. There is a suction pull, I told you in the starting. I'll write it, suction pull. With the xylem vessels, they take the water from this ground floor or under the soil to every part of the plant. The distribution is quite equal. One more thing I like to tell you, that is all the minerals are also traveling with this water also. So root absorb water and minerals from soil, and even it takes the nitrogen gases also, which is locked inside the soil. Let me talk about the different type of roots also. Many times the differentiate used to ask that a differentiate between tap root and fibrous root. You are well aware with this question from class 4th also, but let me discuss you once again. What are tap roots and what are fibrous roots? Tap roots are found in which kind of trees? Neem tree, peepal tree, banyan tree, and fibrous roots are found in grasses, wheat, paddy, maize. All these type of roots are found in fibrous roots, right? So taproot is having a reticulate venation in very short. If you're talking about the leaf pattern, then it is reticulate venation. If you're talking about the fibrous roots, you can observe it from the leaves also, that is parallel venation, right? So see, wheat, sugarcane, all these are having the parallel venation on the leaves, right? This kind of pattern is followed by the leaves, so their roots are also fibrous, right? Every time you cannot pull it off and see the root, which kind of root it is having, so you can find out with the leaves also. It's a very easy method, you can see from that also. Let's talk about the flower. Flower is left. So flower is a very beautiful part of a plant. We all like flower and its fragrance. Yes, we always used to pull them up, but after that we always recognize that why we pulled off the flowers. So let's talk something all about flowers. It's very interesting to know this. Flower is divided to basically in the 4 parts: petal, sepals, stamen, stigma. Yes, and they're divided into male part and female part, of course. So we are not going to go in such a detail. I'm just going to tell you all the types only. That's petal, sepals, stamen, and stigma. Read the pronunciation, please. Okay, this is the figure. Okay, here you can see in this figure, and let me draw with you. This is the figure, and what I am covering it with a green color, that is petals. Yes, rose petals we love very much. They're utilized for many purposes, medicinal purpose also, and beauty products also. So we are taking and plucking off the petals, of course, right? Now you get an idea what are petals. Okay, next is stigma. See, stigma is the female part, and after that the stick which is going inside is a style, and again ovary is again a female part where inside the ovule is present, that is female part. So overall if I'll discuss over here, that is pistil. Pistil is a female part. I'll write over here. You can take the screenshot and learn it bit. So this is female part, that is called pistil, which is divided into 4 parts, that is stigma, style, ovary, ovule, and ovule is inside the ovary, right? Okay, next I like to talk about is male part, which is, you can see stamen. It is known as stamen. This is the male part of the flower. So first it is anther. You can see over here is anther contains pollen grains also. If somewhere it is written pollen grains, don't get confused. These pollen grains are inside the anther, right? And the stick which is holding it up is called filament. So again there become 3 parts for stamen if you are talking about. First part is pollen grains, like this. Many pollen grains are inside the anther, right? They're locked inside the anther, and it is held by the stamen, filament, and filament all over these 3 parts are called stamen, which is the male part. Okay, one more interesting thing I like to tell you, this petals are supported by sepals. Without the support of the sepal, these petals cannot be. Hold on. Next is receptacle. Receptacle is this part of the plant where the ovary used to be supported by this receptacle. So this is the figure and diagram of a flower, part of flower. You can learn them, draw in your notebook. It will help you in future also. Take a once again of this video, take the review once again, and then if any queries is there, definitely we'll discuss in the class. Till then,